artist I chose is Cory Archangel. He's an American post-conceptual artist. So just a brief bio about him. Cory Archangel is an American post-conceptual artist who makes work in many different medias, including drawing, music, video, performance art, and video game modifications, for which he is best known for. Born on May 25th, 1978, he currently is living in Buffalo, New York. When he first attended college, he studied classical guitar. I keep trying to pronounce this, but he studied classical guitar at the Oberlin Conservatory of Music, but later switched to major in the technology of music, graduating in the year 2000. So some of his more notable exhibitions and his achievements, his work is included in public collections in locations such as the Whitney Museum of American Art, Miami Art Museum, the Migros Museum, and the Nieuwe Nationale Galeria. At 33, Archangel was the youngest artist to receive an entire floor for New York with Pro Tools, which is a music production, they call it a DAW, a digital audio workstation. His 2011 solo show at the Whitney Museum of American Art. So his most notable, or I guess most famous artwork is the Super Mario Clouds, which was showcased in 2002. For this video installation, Cory Archangel hacked a cartridge of Super Mario Bros., the original version of the blockbuster Nintendo video game released in the United States in 1985, which came out on the SNES, the Super Nintendo. By tweaking the game's code, the artist erased all of the sound and visual elements except the iconic swirling clouds. So I just wanted to include my critiques and just as I go, not necessarily in separate slides. I did think that this was super cool and really unique. It's something that I've really never seen before, especially with all of Cory's work. I did find it somewhat, boring. I don't want to be mean, but it was kind of just like, it just seems like clouds in the sky. I mean, I guess the idea of it is really cool, and how he went through to get the clouds is really cool. But just overall, the end product was a little lackluster, but I still really appreciate it. So one of my favorite things that Archangel did was another video game hack called I Shot Andy Warhol, which was debuted in 2002. It's a modified version of the video game Hogan's Alley. It is similar to the original NES game, except that the gangsters from the original have been replaced by Andy Warhol, and the innocents have been replaced by the Pope, Flavor Flav, and Colonel Sanders. Both the graphics and the programs were modified, a complete binary hack, but the game is downloadable for at-home play. I did try to download it to play it. My computer storage is pretty full at the moment, so I wasn't able to do it, but I watched some videos, and I think it's super creative, especially to be able to go in there and kind of change the video game models, and also to kind of make the characters more modern and also kind of make them more personable. I mean, even today in 2021, I mean, I think the characters are more personable than they were in the original NES game. So I would assume in 2002 they were just as personable. So this is another interesting one. This is going to be the last piece of art that I cover by him. But this is Punk Rock 101, which was debuted in 2006. This is an example of Archangel's work with the web as an artistic medium. For this piece, he republished Kurt Cobain's alleged suicide letter alongside a series of Google ads. The ads are tailored to the content of any given page, and the piece juxtaposed Cobain's angst with ads selling social anxiety treatment and motivational speaking. I think this is something that we can relate to in modern times with our cell phones and with cookies and stuff like that, where we're scrolling. Maybe we're looking at a pair of shoes, and then we get on the web, and then we have an ad for the shoes. I think this was super, super creative and very innovative. I mean, it's somewhat insensitive, but at the same time, it's kind of enlightening to these targeted ads that these websites use. But yeah, I also included a quote from him talking about this piece of art. But the quote says, "A while back, I made a web page which paired Kurt Cobain's suicide letter with Google Ads. Google Ads are generated from the text of the page they appear on. It was up for a while, but after getting digged, Google decided to remove the ads from the page. I took some screenshots while it was up, so I included the picture of the screenshot. But also notable is Google actually paid Archangel a little bit. I guess because he was getting paid for the art or something like that. I don't know. I couldn't find too much detail, but he did say he took a picture of the check that he received from Google, which I also thought was pretty interesting. So Corey and post-conceptualism, this is his main art form. But post-conceptualism is an art theory that builds upon the legacy of conceptual art in contemporary art, where the concept or idea involved in the work takes some precedence over traditional aesthetics and material concerns. It is apparent in Archangel's work is post-conceptualism, as it is not near traditional art and uses the concept and idea as the main focus. So how we were talking about, or how I was talking about his Super Mario clouds. It's it wasn't really the clouds in the sky was the art piece, but maybe the concept of how he got there, which is more of the art, which I can definitely appreciate. But I was on Archangel's website, which is currently down, but he did link, I guess an art social media. I've never been on it before, but he posts this quote on there, and the quote is, "Whenever I give a talk about my work, I am invariably asked who my influences are. Not what my influences are, but who. As if the gutter, misunderstandings, memories, sex, dreams, and books matter less than the forebears do. After all, in terms of influences, it is as much the guy who mugged me on 10th Street or my beloved dog who passed away much too early as it was Giotto or Diane Arbus." This is actually a Robert Gober quote, but he reposted this on his social media. It's called Arena, but it's RARE.NA. And then it's under the block, which is what I learned in art school. This is the first time I've heard of this social media, so I'm not really good at how it works, but this is where I found it. As far as Archangel's influence on myself and my art, I'd have to say after researching Archangel, I think the most notable influence is to just make art you want to make. This is my first deep dive into post-conceptualism, and it was pretty cool to see just people making what they want to make, not necessarily painting from a book or just textbook kind of artwork, the shade goes here, blah blah, stuff like that. But to see it more just the art as a creative aspect, solely, was really, really cool. But yes, seeing his very unique work, I'm inspired to strive after what I want to make and not what is deemed as good art. Especially while being in art school, I think, or pursuing an art education, you're just kind of learning from the textbook and taught art. But after looking at Archangels, it's more of just pure expressionism, which I thought was really cool. But yeah, that is it. Thank you all so much.